Hi everybody, this is chapter 9 for today, and I'm going to read from the book All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue. Now we've had Lily hasn't returned yet, and not on Monday or on Tuesday, and Maeve is really feeling bad about what has happened. So here we go. Chapter 9. The first I hear about the police is from Nia, who saw them waiting outside Sister's or Sumpter's office that morning. Hot cop, she WhatsApped to the group. This is not a drill, this is a hot cop in the building, as you can expect from all girls Catholic school with only one male teacher. If you can really call Mr. Bernard a man or a teacher, everyone goes nuts. 3 people message pics at once. Nia sent through a picture of 2 Cardia in luminous jackets. One is a blonde woman, stocky and fair, and a tiny little ponytail at the base of her neck. The other is apparently the hot cop in question, a very tall, very thin, tawny-haired man of about 35. Near Michelle pings back, "You call that a hot cop? We need to talk about your taste." "We are their guardia in school," I text, but no one responds. It's just Michelle and Nia now, getting increasingly defensive over what constitutes as an attractive man. "Are you going to go up to him, Nia?" someone else asked. "I will in my hole." Several laughing emojis. I text Fiona the same question. No response. She's busy. This week, with some new performance troupe she formed with her older acting pals. There were pictures of her in the wartime fishnets on Instagram stories all yesterday evening. I keep typing out messages to the group that I don't send. I'm too afraid to say what I really think is happening, that this is about Lily and her absence over the last few days. Morning classes tick by. Maths, then geography. We are learning about soil creep, the slow movement of rock and soil down a slope. That's what the book says. I try to keep up with the teacher, but my eyes keep skittering over that one sentence. The slow movement of rock and soil down a slope. The words on the page are merging with some internal gut instinct, and I feel as if I'm about to be crushed under the weight of a heavy, endless mass. Then it happens. 10 minutes before the end of class, there's a knock on the classroom door. Miss Harris enters, flanked by a hot cop and a blonde cop. "Hello, girls," she says, trying to keep her voice bright. "This is a Detective Garda, Sarah Griffin, and Inspector Matthew Ward. I know you'll all be keen to have your morning break, but they just have a couple of questions for you before you do. It is about Lily." I can feel the hovering glance of 21 pairs of eyes, all on me. I don't think anyone had truly noticed Lily's absence until now, and I imagine most of them forgot about the housekeeper card by late Friday evening. Now, I read tarot, and I've never heard of a card being called a housekeeper card, so I did do my research, and it is on Google, and if you type in housekeeper, what does it mean in tarot, then you'll get the Queen of Pentacles, because she's career orientated, she's a nurturer, she's economic, the mother of the house, and she keeps care of the family and the house. That's why she's also known as the housekeeper. I thought it would be something like a scary witchy card, but who knows? The Queen of Pentacles does represent the forest and the nature, and witches do live in forests, so it's intriguing. To me, anyway. Anyway, so just coming back, I can't stop this. No, I can't pause it. Sorry. So, I can feel the hovering glance of 21 pairs of eyes all on me. I don't think anyone had truly noticed Lily's absence until now, and I imagine most of them forgot about the housekeeper card by late Friday evening. But now that they've heard her name, they are starting to pull it all together. "Good morning, everyone," says Griffin. "Unfortunately, your classmate Lily O'Callaghan has been missing since Sunday night. While we won't go into details here, her family are very worried, and we would very much like anyone who knows Lily well or who spoke to her at the school last week to please step forward with any information you have. I cannot express enough how even the smallest conversation could be helpful to us." You can literally hear the sound of a room full of girls catching their breath at once. An inward suck of tension, air being pulled through the teeth. Griffin's eyes flicked over the room. I can see her mentally logging this. Something to write in her notebook later. Her stare hops from girl to girl. She's figuring out who she's going to pull aside if no one puts their hand up. The Garda Nia Fancies starts to talk. "Now, I don't want any of you to panic," he says. That's the hot cop. His voice, kind. In the vast majority of cases, girls of Lily's age and description tend to have a run away from home. Usually they come back on their own, but we want to make sure that Lily is safe. So if anyone knows about a boyfriend or a friend or an organization that Lily might have been a part of." Detective Griffin suddenly looks at her subordinate sharply, as if the word organization was not part of their agreed script. More girls glanced over their shoulder, a few nudges each other, and looked at me. If I don't say something now, I'm going to be outed. Griffin is going to triangulate these stolen glances and realize that I'm at the center of them. I put my hand in the air. Miss Harris's eyes widen. She's only been here a couple of years. I don't think she actually knows that Lily and I used to be best friends. "Maeve, hi," I say slowly. "I think I might know something about Lily." All three adults blinked at me and then looked at each other in an expression of, ha, we didn't think it would be that easy. "I think it might be my fault," I said. And I am led from the room, the heat of the stairs molten as a dragon's breath. Thankfully, I'm in the hallway before the tears start. I'm led into Sister Osumptia's office, a bright, airy room, where they bring rich parents and ex-alumni, I don't know what that means, I think ex-students, when they are looking for donations to fix the roof. I've never been in this room before, though of course I see snatches of the lemon walls and the overstuffed couch whenever I pass it by, usually to get told off in Miss Harris's poker office. Now I'm in here and I don't know what to do. with myself. No one has a directive either. Stand up, sit down. If I were being punished, my natural instinct would be to stay standing. But the air around me is so tense with concern and gratitude that my knees feel weak. My bones have been replaced by a stack of almost empty shampoo bottles, ready to be kicked over into the shower. Part 2. Now, Maeve, Miss Harris says, touching my arm as she sits down on the couch. Why don't you sit down next to me? Grab a tissue and just breathe for a second. I flop down, still streaming tears. Jesus Christ, what must she be thinking of me? Through my tears, I can see a slight furrow emerging on her forehead. She's confused by this. She probably has a list in her office of sensitive girls, and I very much doubt my name is on it. I take a tissue, all the same, huffing and the contents of my nose into it. I grab another and another. From the corner of my eye I see Sister Assumptia in all her ancient glory, hobbling into view. There is a joke about Sister Assumptua, that they keep her in this office with the phone unplugged, because it's cheaper than sending her to a retirement home. It's not exactly a nice joke, but it started a long time before I was at St. Bernadette's, and it will continue until Sister Assumptia dies, which it seems she has no plans on doing, just as every human civilization thinks that it will be the one to witness the apocalypse. Every wave of the girls that come through this school is convinced they are going to be the one to witness Assumptia's passing. Sister Assumptia is a tiny woman. She is somewhere between 65 and 103 years old, depending on the weather. In winter she seems like the oldest person to ever have lived, clad in layers of knitwear and thermal socks that she straps to her hands. How can you strap thermal socks to your hands? But anyway, that's what it says here. During our first month of the secondary school, Lily and I were hanging around in an empty classroom during lunch. Sister Assumptia suddenly flung open the door with a vigour I haven't seen in the old woman before or since. She pointed a bent finger at the two of us. "You two," she said, come with me." We were so new at St. Bernadette's that we weren't sure whether we had broken some rule without knowing it. We also still thought that Sister Assumptia had power, which she doesn't. We followed her outside to where her 1963 sky blue Volkswagen Bug was parked under a tree. "She still drives?" Lily asked in a whisper. I stifled a giggle. "How is that legal?" As she unlocked the car, we got a chance to gaze at the inside and quickly realized that this beautiful little bug hadn't been driven in some time. The window had been left slightly unrolled, and the car had filled up with piles of fallen leaves, some dark orange or old pumpkin color, some as green as a traffic light. The car clearly hadn't left the school car park in years. Sister Assumptia popped open the boot and pointed the 3 decaying cardboard boxes festering inside. "Carry these in," she said shortly. Lift from the legs. You are good, strong girls now. That is the way you should do it. We followed her back to the school and dumped the boxes in what would become Miss Harris's office, but then was just a big closet. As soon as Sister's back was turned, I opened a box and picked out a velvet jewellery case. There were about 12 cases, maybe more. I clicked open one and found endless strings of costume jewellery, plastic pearls, glass diamonds, stuff that probably wasn't worth much individually, but together probably came to a few €100. We talked about it for months. The VW bug, filled with leaves and masses of cheap jewellery. The crooked finger, the feeling that we were just one small part of some vast plan our school principal had, and perhaps was still completing. We wrote stories about it. Lily would start with 2 sentences, then fold the paper down. Then I would write 2 sentences. Before long we had an ongoing saga, and an epic romance about an ex-nun and a Brazilian count. Every time we saw Sister Assumptia, after that, we would explode into giggles, and we never told anyone why. Seeing Sister Assumptia now, this tiny, deranged little ex-nun, with her sock hands and her ankle-length navy skirt, everything starts to dawn on me. Lily is gone. An entire life of memories, private jokes and pet names are up in smoke, and I'm the one to blame. Did the tarot reading on Friday finally upset her so much that she couldn't face coming to school on Monday? Did she run away? I started howling again, crying. It turns out it's very hard to stop once you start. Sister Assumptia is peering at me through her enormous owl glasses, utterly mystified. This is a private office, Sister A says, clearly annoyed. I didn't say you could have police in here. I know Sister says Miss Harris, but these are rather special circumstances, so I didn't think you would mind. There's a girl crying in here, says Sister A. Why is there a girl crying in here? This is about Lily O'Callaghan, Sister, replies Miss Harris, trying to keep her cool. The missing girl. Who? Look, Detective Griffin says finally, we really can't take a statement from Maeve unless she has a parent or a guardian present, and she's clearly very upset. How about we spin her home? We can talk to her parents and Maeve can speak to us there, where she's comfortable. Isn't that Harriet Evans' little sister, the youngest one? Sister Assumptia pipes up again. No, Sister. Miss Harris replies, exasperated. She turns to Griffin. I think that would be a good idea. So that's what we will do. Everyone's on morning break, crossing the yard to access the car park behind the building. There are girls in my year, artfully lounging against the walls and mossily mildewed benches. They straighten up as they see me being dog-walked by 2 guardia standing on the tiptoes to watch me leave. A breathtaking silence falls all over the yard. Everything seems to slow down and mute itself. Even the skipping rope that some of the younger girls are swinging becomes soundless. A breathtaking silence falls over the yard. Everything seems to slow down by itself. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. Even the skipping rope. Then I hear it. A lone voice calling like a shotgun across the desert plain. Which griffin's head ducks or cocks? Which griffin gazes around the yard, trying to locate the source of the sound? It's too late though. There are too many of them. Which? And it keeps going until we get into the squad car and leave St. Bernadette's. And that is the chapter 9. So now she's outcasted as a witch. I wonder what chapter 10 will be like. We'll find out tomorrow. Have a lovely day.